Hey YouTube, I cannot believe I'm having to waste minutes to do this. This is kind of a thing to all camera manufacturers out there. I think there needs to be some new policy among the public, the smarter public. I'm looking at digital cameras and what it. I'm thinking about buying one. Number one, another one to replace one that I dropped. And holy crap, man. Who in this day and age, if you're buying a real camera, why would you buy a real camera that has no optical or electronic viewfinder? It just has like a cell phone. It just has an LCD screen on the back. It's idiotic. Number one, here's the premise. Cameras require good light to shoot in. Look at how bad the light is here. They require good light to shoot in, aka sunlight or bright light. In a lot of cases, if you're outside with a camera, you're going to be in the sun. You ever tried to use a cell phone in the sun? How hard it is to see that screen? You ought to try it with a digital camera. Oh, yeah. So I'm looking at these things and I'm like, what idiot designed this? And I start looking for solutions to the problem. You couldn't believe the gaudy things they've come out with to compensate for that problem. These big friggin' hoods you put on the LCD screen with like an eye loop in it, so you look even more dorky. Instead of like this, with your camera, up there trying to look at that big LCD screen, or having to like up under your cap, the big LCD screen, trying to get that light dim enough so you can actually see what that camera is focusing on, to see if your composition is right. How hard is it? Just simply design a camera. You don't even need an EVF. Just put a little optical peep sight. Canon used to do it. I've had several digital ELPH Canons, little compact cameras that have an optical peep sight, so that when you're in the damn sun and you can't see shit to photograph on your camera on that LCD screen, you can use it like a regular point and shoot film camera. You can put it up there. It has little crosshairs where the focus zone is in that optical finder. So you can focus and recompose, and Canon stuff is pretty accurate through their viewfinder, and their LCD. They match up pretty good. So you're going to get the shot you want to take. But I'm looking at like the Nikon Coolpix and the Fuji Finepix, entry-level cameras, some Kodak stuff. Even Kodak has a low-level bridge camera, a very inexpensive bridge camera. It has a friggin' EVF in it at the very least. And I've got some DSLRs, with optical viewfinders. And yeah, I'll take those out and I'll shoot with them when I'm not worried about getting mugged and having my gear stolen. But time and time again, you see these little cameras. The compact cameras have completely dumped the optical sight or completely dumped the EVF. I don't care if I get a bridge camera stolen. I've got a Fuji Finepix sitting over here. It actually has an EVF on it. It didn't cost me much. And it takes good pictures. But the big thing I've decided for myself, I don't know about the rest of you guys. I don't know how many of you guys buy or use cameras, as a hobby or otherwise. When I go looking for a camera now, if it doesn't have an EVF on it, it's immediately skipped until I find one within my price range that has an EVF or an optical viewfinder. I don't mind the optical viewfinder at all. And here's the thing about the optical viewfinder over the EVF. When you start using long shutter, like on these Canon ELPH cameras, and you try to get a night shot, the camera sensor sometimes cannot see in preview mode, when you're sitting there with live view going or whatever, when it's showing you what it sees. It cannot show you what that night photo is going to look like. You just see black out there. So it's good to have that little optical viewfinder in the corner of the camera, because you can see through that at night. You don't just see black on a screen. And you can compose your shot and set your shutter for maybe 8 to 15 seconds, and your picture's composed. If you use the manual focus, it's focused. Sometimes you can use a reference object like a street light as a pinpoint to focus on and then recompose. But the point of it is, because you got that optical viewfinder, you can see what the hell's out there when you compose the image. you know, when you're ready to take that picture. And you can't do that on these non-viewfinder cameras. I think even that little piece of crap Kodak I had, it had in its EVF, it could up the ISO to the point that you could see what the camera was pointed at. It was all grainy and crap because it's a moving image, you know. It's basically a video image, and it's cranked its ISO as high as it'll go so that you can see. But I've just made a point. A camera's meant to be used in the sun. You know, take it out, general daylight photography. It needs a viewfinder because you can't see shit on that LCD screen in the sun. You know, unless you get one of those big gaudy, oh my God, I was looking at Amazon and they're like, whoa, you know, this it's like this thick from the back of your camera. So here's your camera. Here's the hood plus the camera. So a little camera that would normally fit in your pocket. I like those little cameras because nothing draws a security guard like a big DSLR. And I know this because I walked down by the Cantech plant and I was going to take a picture of some of the neat industrial equipment they have on the towers. And this guy comes running up. What are you doing? Why are you taking pictures? You know, I was like, oh, I just got a new camera. I was going to try it out and this looks really neat. So you can't take pictures around here. Go away. You know, nothing attracts a security guard like a big freaking camera. Or street photography, forget it. I guess you could do street photography with a DSLR, but good luck. You gotta have a long-ass lens if you don't want them to change their behavior when you whip that thing out, you know. But those little bitty cameras, nobody cares about that shit. That's a tourist camera. That's what they all think. You're always just out taking pictures. So take that little camera and multiply the size by 3 by putting a freaking LCD hood on it, and then watch the security guards come a-running, and the other people notice you, that you really don't want to make a scene, you just want to take a picture, you know. So that's my whole point on this whole video. If it ain't got any kind of viewfinder on it, don't buy it. You're wasting your money. Unless you're taking like pictures of your crisps in some bar somewhere in super low light. Well, even they don't really work all that well in low light without the long shutter anyway. So there's another one. If it doesn't have a viewfinder and it doesn't have a shutter that is at least goes down to 15 seconds or longer, I don't want it. Don't want it. You know, and there's no excuse for not, even the crappiest of CCDs now can be incorporated through software. It can have a long shutter. Software and hardware wise, they can do it. You know, you don't have to have a super high ISO for long shutter. And there shouldn't be a single one whose ISO can't go up to at least 1600 now. I mean, we've been making cameras and even tiny cameras now since 2000 something, you know, mid 2000, maybe 2006 or later, that can at least go to 1600. They're grainy, but you can get the shot if you otherwise wouldn't. And with today's technology, with backside illumination on just about every damn thing, you know, even cell phones can shoot at 800 and not be grainy, so. But yeah, this whole video was basically sparked on that, man. Why the hell do you make cameras that don't have some kind of viewfinder on them? That's like the single most simple piece of photographic hardware that you need on a camera to achieve good results in bright sunlight. So that's just me. I know I haven't posted in a long time. I'm not going to be posting for a while because my internet connection is garbage and it's gone now. So I won't get into the reasons why. But we'll be back up and running in a couple of months when things are a little better. And most likely we'll be using Suddenlink, possibly, because AT&T sucks out here. And I don't see them doing the final mile anytime soon. Besides that, Suddenlink's got the fiber. We're going to be doing some gigabit per second shit, baby. All right. Y'all have a good one.